Alright, it's time for another Zack game, and I'll explain the reason as to why there's yet another one. Which one? I was trying to record other games, but low replay is on the fritz, so I kind of have to use the footage I have at hand in order to make some videos. Once I fix low replay, I'll have other stuff, so don't worry. Either way, Zack, right now, in my opinion, is one of the better champions I've been using. It's like, holy crap, I actually make a huge damn impact in my games. And, like, I actually get to pick a tank, because most tanks right now get themselves destroyed by pretty much everybody. But Zack is one of the few tanks who's actually safe in the jungle. It's like, if I was Nautilus, Eve might dunk me. If I was Sejuani, hell, the monsters would dunk me. But with Zack, I get to make an impact immediately. I mean, I get to, not die. I get to pose a threat. Like, in this very instance right now, I just kind of gank Riven. It amounts to nothing, but, most other tanks, if Evelyn showed up, I'd probably die. But Zack actually gets to put up a fight. Nonetheless, my runes and masteries are Magic Pen Red, I believe. Or not, it's Attack Speed Red. I don't quite remember which runes I had available on him at the time. Armor Yellow, Magic Resistance Blues, I have Movement Speed Quints. And my masteries were, I believe, 426. There's not really much of a reason to go beyond 4 in the offensive tree on Zack, since, he doesn't really want a P as much as he'd want us a lot of the defensive mastery points. Nonetheless, he's a strong tank, and right now in the era where everybody's pretty much picking carry junglers or soft teams with no front line, Zack is just delicious. Look at this. The enemy team has no actual front line. I mean, the most they have is Riven, but she's going to go damage obviously because she's a Riven. So either I can jump right in the back line and kill the Caitlyn and dunk her, or I melt their front line and disable them and disrupt them and just cause them a fucking, headache. And also his ganks, of course, are pretty damn strong. In the case of this, like, I don't know if they have rewarded or anything, so I'm kind of waiting on the outskirts. It's a slow game so far, yeah. No kills for pretty much 10 minutes. Not for the lack of trying, but because everybody's playing safe. But here, just this. I get to jump in. Fight breaks out. What are they going to do? Clump up a little. Thresh and I pretty much disable Evelyn and make sure she dies. We turn on the Caitlyn. She can't fight me in the Thresh. Of course, Corki ends up dying. It's fine, though. And I turn on the Janna, who thinks she probably would have survived, but beautiful Thresh hook. She dies. I get nothing, but fine. I don't know. I don't care as long as my teammates get fed and farmed or whatever. It seems that my bottom lane is having a bigger issue than the other lanes, as you can see with the gold disparity and the CS disparity. So I'm actually going to be focusing on ganking bottom lane, which is something Zack is really good at. He's really strong at camping lanes. So, as Zack, I'm going to do so. I mean, the last game you saw with me as Zack, I showed you the pure definition of camping the lane, so... Anyways, going back down bottom, I know they might have these bushes warded and they might have the river warded, but I know they don't have this one warded now, thanks to the Thresh's red trinket. Thankfully, that Thresh knows how important it is for him to buy a trinket if he wants me to gank for him. Also, this pink ward here, early one, will pretty much guarantee this whole entire side isn't warded. And with that, they pretty much just kind of go right into my hands. I make a short burst to Janna. I try killing her, but Corki's a little too far behind and a little too dead for me to make much of an impact. So I just kind of end up bursting their faces in and they almost die. Of course, I have my passive, so I'm not really afraid of dying. This, of course, gives my teammates an advantage because now the enemy Janna's forced to bust out her ultimate in order to survive. And I'm kind of waiting here in order to have another go at them. Thresh gets a good-ass Q on her. We pretty much burst down the Caitlyn with everything we've got. I have to use my flash in order to make sure she dies. The Thresh ends up getting the kill with her Ignite, so once more I don't get anything except assist, but that's fine by me. Anyways, as I was saying, Zack is right now pretty damn fucking good as a character. I'm actually, spoiler alert, promoting him to the top of the jungle tank tier list. Tank, remember this, not the overall tier list. Because unlike, Jarvan and Nautilus, he's very safe as a tank. And all the other, like, the carries may not actually be able to kill him. Zack is able to actually shrug them off and do his damn job. The other ones die and then pretty much get defeated during the laning jungle phase or whatever this case. In this case, you see, I'm applying so much pressure to bottom, their little advantage early with CS is pretty much moot now. My Corki's in the game, my other laners are safe or whatever. And if my bottom lane, were to lose or not be able to take advantage of my ganks, I could just go up to their crap or what. Anyways, I was just starting to random. Sorry for that. one of the other advantages that Zach has, and and it's actually one of the biggest, is for a tank. For a tank, he's actually very easy to itemize. It's like tanks are already by default pretty much brainless to itemize, build health and resistances. Zach, though, he takes up another notch. He only really needs health to become a huge threat. He's like a Mundo, but with actual tanking powers. I'm able to initiate, I'm able to continue fighting, I'm able to deal damage just by building nothing but health. And that makes him more cost effective than even other tanks and makes his early game even better. So even if I get dunked early, which shouldn't really happen considering it's Zach, I'll still probably do better than the other tanks with even less gold. So it's like that efficiency, that safety. It's like he's like a sort of Nasus of tanks, that insurance policy. So I've been a lot more comfortable picking him top lane or in the jungle. It's just, you know, as we need a tank, I'll pick Zach. I don't want to risk the Malphite pick or anything. Plus this too, Zach is sort of like the midway point between a Cho'Gath and a Malphite. Malphite's got that badass initiation and I shit on you carry kind of thing. And Cho'Gath's got all that disruption goodiness but no initiation or mobility. Zach's in the middle of them. He's got that great ass initiation and dunking power of the carry, but that's not as definitive as Malphite's. But he's got that disruption level of Cho'Gath. It's just slightly less so. So he's like in the middle of both of them. If you were to consider the trifecta, or not exactly a trifecta, but that whole bunch of jungle tanks, and they're all kind of a mess everywhere, Zach's kind of got the best traits of all of them. If you were to go to the jungle tier list and see Zach, he has probably the best tank scores out of any character in the game. He's very close to Jarvan, but I think Zach finally edges him out thanks to better itemization now, considering a lot of the best things about Jarvan have been pretty much gutted. And as you can see, I pretty much get to initiate fights as Zach and reinitiate over and over and over. That's one of the best things about Zach. I see an opportunity, I get to take advantage of it. Another opportunity comes into team fight, I get to reposition myself instantly and take advantage of that. In that last fight, you saw Evelyn and the front line, or whatever they were trying to kill my Corki, they melted. And as soon as they melted, I got to jump right on top of Caitlyn and chase her down and just pretty much never let up. And here, same kind of situation. I missed my E, of course. Evelyn gets caught. I turn on her, pop my ultimate with flash and make sure to kill her. And as soon as she dies, I use my E to try to re-engage back on John, forcing her flash. So the gank resulted in the counter initiation. It resulted in Evelyn dying and then still burning John's resources down. And that's what Zach keeps doing. It's just like it's empowering. It's really fucking good. In every single fight, I get to be a massive threat, and I still pretty much just avoid dying altogether. So it's like Zach in the late game, I've noticed he gets kind of weak, especially when the enemy carry gets resistances and whatever. Once the enemy gets resistances, holy crap, does your power just plummet. But prior to that, you were a fucking monster. And like, I would wholeheartedly just suggest you pick Zach if you want to, win games. Of course, it's not to say picking a Wukong or Elise or anything is a bad idea. I'm saying that Zach is a great idea if you needed the initiation or the tanky, because he sort of provides what those carries are providing now, that whole dunk a character and slime over everybody and melt them kind of thing, but he's still a tank with the initiation powers. And like I mentioned very early in the game, the fact that nobody is picking tanks right now and nobody's having a front line in solo queue, I don't know about LCS, because in LCS they'll pick actual smart teams, but not in solo queue. In a realm or in the world where nobody's picking smart team lineups, fucking Zach wrecks the shit out of them. You actually, in order to deal with Zach, you probably need to actually have a team or items to beat him. The enemy team, look, they have one goddamn ignite. They can't stop me from healing myself unless they ignite me, which in turn would leave my other teammates, free reign from not being ignited. The enemy team is also not building a Morellonomicon or a Executioner's Calling. So, like, I'm going to be really difficult to kill in team fights. It's made worse by the fact that I'm fucking fat and I have a lot of health right now. But it's one of those situations where Zach demands a lot from the enemy team. The Janna pick was actually very smart, though. I think she made that as a response to my Zach pick because she'd be able to stop my initiation and protect the carry. Didn't turn out so well because the rest of my team is very strong, too, and I kind of fed them early. But a pick like that is something that's needed. And the enemy team kind of fell into it. I've been picking Zach as a first pick or as a second pick or pretty much at any point. So it's like I've been able to justify him, you know, at pretty much any time. So he's a safe pick. He's a very safe pick. And you guys should know how much I adore having that kind of, you know, calm about things. How I enjoy just not, I guess, regretting my choice. I dread being first pick as a jungler because now I'm forced to, you know, I pick like Nasus and then my team picks no initiation, so we get kited like hell. Or I pick, I don't know, Nautilus and then we have no damage or something. But with Zach, I don't have to worry about that. I will actually go as far as to say he's probably one of the best first pick junglers you could make at the moment or pretty much ever. Like, I played him a lot when he was overpowered and everybody had to play him. And I did like him back then, and I did give him a lot of consideration. But right now, I am having this whole resurgence of wanting to play him. And, I mean, of course, you may have noticed by the fact that I have like 5 recent videos in the last 2 months of him. But, honestly, it's just... I owe a lot of my ranked victories to him as of late. And it's kind of like karma, it's just people underestimate him. A lot of people pick fights with me, then they realize, holy crap, Zach has a lot of damage. Holy crap, Zach is difficult to fucking kill. I should have not used my Ignite so pointlessly. But damn, I wish he cost less, honestly, in terms of IP. Because a lot of players will not play him or purchase him because of that. He's kind of bland for a lot of players. He's not exactly exciting or flashy. He's just, I mean, bouncy, and that's kind of fun. But a lot of players will be drawn off because he isn't Yasuo or anything. He is, to be honest, one of the more bland tanks of the game. He's fun, but when you have Nautilus, you know, fucking locks down somebody, shoots lasers, not lasers, shoots torpedoes and shit, or you have Malphite who goes in and you hear this gigantic boom. Yeah. Alright, by the way, the enemy team does the Baron and kind of has no escape, so KO's able to just wreck the shit out of them. This is also after KO's been nerfed, so that damage you saw in Italy was just fucking impressive. But of course, the enemy team forced the Baron in a desperation attempt, which they kind of shouldn't because they were honestly making some sort of comeback, and the game wasn't too far gone for them. But they forced the Baron, they got picked off, they got killed, and now we're able to just take the tower. So if anything, take from this video, I would wholeheartedly suggest you invest in Zach because he's a great first pick and he's a great champion to pick in general because nobody has tanks. When your team is so desperate for magic damage or tanks, Zach fills that niche. So, make the investment in Zach and reap the rewards. I wholeheartedly endorse the Zach Brotherhood or whatever. Hooray for Zach.